SB with the truth, it might pierce your mind. And JP hit you with reality all the time. The way to keep it all the way 100, it should be a crime. Sports, news, politics, on the show you will find. Conversation grown, opinions they're not alone. Savannah be the home, they coming straight for your dome. It is what it is, gonna be what it's gonna be. You are rocking with the Sean Brown Show with JP.
What it do, ladies and gentlemen? It is Monday afternoon. It's the Sean Brown Show with JP live in Savannah, Georgia. We in the building, man. Sean is half naked in the studio right now, taking a shower.
We all of a sudden have more viewers.
No, actually, we're in the negative right now. He's headed out to Savannah State for the beginning of the 2018-2019 band camp. Yeah.
I'm jealous.
They're back. You're jealous.
I'm jealous. I miss band camp. I really do.
You really want to carry them quads and snares and bass around? 98-degree weather?
Maybe a flute.
Nah. Oh, whoa. Pause.
What are you doing for all that weight, you know?
A flute, though? Yeah, you could have said trumpet. You could have said trombone. Flute?
Still too heavy. All that
Come
heavy.
on, Jesus. What is wrong? No, somebody help. This is ridiculous. Okay, let me see. There you go. Now Facebook can see us. Hello, everyone out there in TV land. We in here, man. It's Monday. Good gracious. I'm tired, dude. I went to the gym last night, and I just freaking... I can't... I ain't never been so sore ever in my life.
Really?
In my life, literally.
Did you max out?
I did. I went super hard last night. Like I did 30 minutes on the treadmill. I did I don't know, it's an ab something. You swing your legs up and you could twist it to the side and everything like that. Then I made the stupid mistake of getting on them steps. That step that move like an escalator.
Yeah.
20 minutes on that.
Ooh.
I couldn't even walk out the gym. I was like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna sit here and contemplate my life decisions right now. It was horrible. I mean, God. Anyway, you guys that work out, man, much respect to you guys. I'm still gonna do it, but I'm eating it right now. It's ridiculous. But anyway, big weekend in the city of Savannah, Georgia, man. We here to my tongue just got tied. We're here to capture all of that for you guys. Disc Space Grace over here to my left.
Hey.
He's spending ones and twos today on the show, man. Like we said, Sean is not in the building. He is headed to Savannah State for the 2018-19 band camp campaign right now. A lot of things going on. So, Disc Grace, what's going on, man? You had a big event this weekend. Friday, you had the Southeastern Vapes party that I was privileged to stop by later on that evening.
Yep.
Real nice crowd, man. Nice
was,
atmosphere. The vibe was dope, man. So, tell us what happened. For those that don't know about that, tell us what happened Friday, man.
Man, it was a fun party. We had like all the island locals and everybody that loves to just shop at that store, and everyone came out. We had food, drinks, giveaways, contests, all kinds of fun stuff, and of course, yours truly, Disc
Space
Grace. On the ones and twos, spinning house music all night, and then towards the end we got into more like the Elan style, EDM, trap,
So what time did y'all get out of there?
Man, I was the party pooper at 11 when I turned off the speakers.
Look at you, party ruiner.
Yeah, but I got there at 10 a.m. to set up for the radio show, and we went live on location, did the Sean Brown Show from there, and then as soon as we broke down, I got on to spinning, so I did like 10 hours of straight DJing. I'm exhausted from it.
Listen, it was a good crowd, a good atmosphere. Shout out to Noah out there and the other owners and proprietors.
Nancy, yep.
Proprietors. Isn't that word, man? Proprietors. Out there at Southeastern Vapes, man, and Wilmington Island, man. Appreciate y'all vibing with us Friday. A lot of other stuff went on this weekend, man. Sports was jumping. A lot of stuff. Tiger Woods, 6 under for the tournament. He lost, but he did have a lead in the final round.
Hey.
So things are looking up for Tiger right now. I'm sprinting through sports right now because we got a really issue that we really want to talk about today. This is going to be like a musical culture show today. So everybody that's chimed in on Facebook Live, YouTube, the TuneIn app, speakingofmike.com, we are talking strictly music culture. You got EDM right here. You got the gospel side right here. I had a friend of mine coming in that was going to hit the R&B and hip-hop side. He might come in a little later. I don't know. But we're still going to discuss it. Empty seats right there.
Right there.
So, but we're still going to discuss it, man. If you like to chime in, hit us on Facebook, hit us on YouTube, TuneIn app, all of that, this, that, and the other. We're going to talk about a lot went on in sports, though. History in the WNBA.
Really?
Sue Bird played her 500th game this weekend. The most games of any player in WNBA history. So, big ups to her, man. And Sue Bird can hoop.
500 games.
500 games, bro. I think she was there for she might have been there for the inception. Like one of the first players to play, first WNBA games in the inaugural season and everything. So 500 games, man.
Congrats.
That's huge, bro. But yeah. Y'all clap for Sue Bird, man. That's what I'm talking about, man. Yeah, absolutely. Well, what else happened in sports? I don't know. I've been out of the loop. I've been so busy this weekend, so I don't know.
It was a heck of a weekend for us, man. I think we might have to resort to
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at it now. Sad news in the NFL. Minnesota Vikings offensive line coach Tony Sparano, he just dies. 56 years old. The report was that his wife found him Sunday morning unconscious.
So no cause of death
No,
yet?
they don't know. They don't know yet. It's just everybody saw you do that.
I know. I'm just like...
I don't know. There's no cause. We don't know if it was a heart attack or nobody knows. It's just very sudden at the age of 56. So, much respect and prayers up to the Minnesota Vikings organization and Miami Dolphins. He was a head coach in Miami for a short period of time. So, but yeah, that's really shocking. Just 56 and just gone.
That's young.
Very young, 56, and no known medical problems or anything like that. It was just one of those things, and such is life, So, I know. So, big ups and big prayers to the Minnesota Vikings, Miami Dolphins, and his family, and so on and so forth. I'm looking at the corner of my eye. Sean is picking boogers off camera, ladies and gentlemen.
Legit.
Do you want to come in and say hi since we're live and you're the host of the show?
I know, right?
Would you like to come in and say something?
Too late.
Everybody we already know. Sean's over that way. There he is. You can see his very fragile arm.
What's going on, everybody? Hey, thanks for rocking with us Monday through Friday. I'm in the middle of band camp, so I'm in and out. I'm hit and miss the next 2 weeks. We'll see you guys soon. Rock out with JP and Disc Bass Grace, and we'll see y'all in a bit.
Hey, put a towel on that head, man. You're blinding everybody on Facebook, bro. Oh, you're walking. These boots were made for walking.
Did you leave him in the car?
All right. We'll see, bro. Yeah.
Enough distraction.
I know, right? That was so pointless. We could have done without that. That was 2 minutes of my life I'd like to have back. Other sports news, let's see. Arizona Cardinals running back David Johnson was in a holdout for his contract, which is what most athletes do right now when they want more money. But apparently he has ended the holdout and has shown up to training camp for the team.
Hey.
What do you think about that? What do you think about players holding out nowadays for more money?
If you're at the bottom of the pay scale, I don't blame you. But if you're breaking in like $70 million on a short-term contract, no, I think you're asking too much.
Well, what if he's not deserving of the holdout and they hold out anyway?
Well, I mean, I get it. We all go to dealerships and bargain for prices on cars, but I mean, my man's just bargaining his own value at that point and what he thinks his value is.
That is also correct.
Yeah. So can't blame him, but I think at a point it does get pretty greedy or selfish.
Yeah. I mean, if I think I'm worth money, then I'm a holdout too. But it really doesn't. No, it really doesn't matter what I think. It's what my team thinks of me. So
this is true. Very true.
It's DeAndre Murphy Sr. chiming in. Appreciate you tuning in, DeAndre. This whole Carmelo thing. Carmelo signs with the Houston Rockets for $2.4 million after being traded to the Atlanta Hawks, only to be shipped off. Basically, he's living his life for real. He's living his best life. Went to Oklahoma City, made $24-point-something million, and basically sucked up the joint. Went to Atlanta. He's still sitting on the 24-something mil. Made another 24-something mil in the contract for Atlanta. So that's about $50 million right there.
Right.
and now he's getting another $2.4 million from the Houston Rockets.
Man, I'm in the wrong industry.
Is that smart, or is that the climax of your career and you're just moving around at 3 different teams in the past of a year, that could look a certain kind of way if you really don't know the intricacies of sports. However,
it sounds like he's just playing the numbers.
That's what I think it is. And, it's going to be interesting to see what he's going to do in Houston. Houston did lose a piece in Trevor Ariza. Trevor Ariza got traded. I don't know if I would have traded Trevor Ariza for Carmelo Anthony. I don't know. And I'm a Knicks fan saying that. We had Carmelo for years. So, I don't know. Is he playing the money game, or is it just like, is he still chasing rings? He's about,
I guess those would be the answers we'd have to get him in studio for.
Right. Yeah, come on, big fella. We here. You know what I'm saying? But another question is, there was a debate questioning whether or not Carmelo was worthy of the Hall of Fame. Now, his NBA numbers, or his NBA, kind of awards and things that he's done in the NBA, I don't think they surpass what he's done outside the NBA. Because he's the only player in NBA history to win 3 gold medals for Team USA. He's a 2000, I believe, 2 national champion with Syracuse Orangemen. And that's about it. And all the stuff he's done in the NBA, I think he's like a 10 or 11 time All-Star. But does that deserve a Hall of Fame? Do you necessarily have to, in this day and age, do you necessarily have to win a ring to be a Hall of Famer? Because, back in the day in the 90s, you had players that didn't win rings that are in the Hall of Fame, but they deservedly so. You had Reggie Miller, Karl Malone, John Stockton, other players like that, Patrick Ewing, all of those Knicks players from back in the day that didn't win rings. But they're in the Hall of Fame because their body of work in that era deserved to be in the Hall of Fame. Now, of course, we know that basketball has changed over the years. There's no true big man anymore. He's stretching 4s to shoot 3s and everything like that. Right now, in my opinion, the only player in the NBA that I think deserves to be in the Hall of Fame that has not won a ring is Dirk Nowitzki. And I can't even say that because he won a ring in 2000. Yeah, he won one, so I can't even say him.
Well, I honestly don't think the ring is what makes you a candidate for the Hall of Fame. I really think
in this era, you don't think so?
Even in this area, because I think the ring is just a kind of a trophy to what your team did as a whole. But the Hall of Fame is what you did.
That's very true. Yeah. But Carmelo Anthony's NBA career, he's never been to a conference final. So, he's never been to an NBA final. He's been to a conference final. But I don't know. He's been the leader on the team on every team that he's been on except Oklahoma City. And for you to be the leader of all of the teams that you've been on and have not been more successful for in the conference finals, I don't know. That doesn't say much about your body of work. We all know you're a good player, but if you're going to be a leader of your team expects for you to get them far. And if you can't get to the NBA finals, then I guess that's kind of like you were this, that, and the other, but that big asterisk and that elephant in the room, you never made an NBA final.
You never made an NBA final because your whole team as a whole couldn't put it together.
Yeah, but who gets the blame for not making the final?
Not
the supporting players or the main all-star on the team? There's something to think about because, perfect example, Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley, another Hall of Famer that never won a ring. He was in Philly. He was in Philly and Phoenix for the youth and the prime of his career, and then he went on to Houston and some other teams. But when you think about that, especially that 93 team that actually went to the finals, he was the star with him and Kevin Johnson and Dan Marley and Big O, Oliver Miller. He was with all of those players, but he was the star. When you thought about Phoenix at that point, you thought Charles Barkley and nobody else before that. And they went 6 games with Chicago that year, and John Paxson hit a 3 in Houston that settled that score. But when you say the Phoenix Suns, you don't say the Phoenix Suns never won a ring because of Dan Marley, Kevin Johnson, the coaching staff. You say Phoenix never won a ring because of Charles Barkley. That's the first name that's going to come up. So, does rings really not matter?
I still think that the ring itself doesn't matter because say you are an all-star player,
Yes.
but the whole team is only putting up mediocre numbers. They're going to stifle your ability. Even things like rebounds and assists and things of that nature, you're not going to be able to put up the same stats that you need to because either defense or offense isn't there for you to climb. But you're still making amazing numbers despite of that. I think that weighs heavier than somebody on a team that does get a ring.
Well, here's a perfect example. Let's talk LeBron James, because LeBron James is scoring 25, 35, 40-something points. Another perfect example, Michael Jordan in his younger years, like year 1 through 4.
Mm-hmm.
He was scoring 25 points, something like that, but the Chicago Bulls were horrible until Pippen got there.
Yeah.
So is it really the whole team, or is it just the supporting player? What are you doing?
You got to go on break so I can go to work.
Go to work, bro. You already did with no shirt on. Yes, you walked right through there.
Yeah.
Yes, we were. Oh my God.
Live radio is so much fun.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'm telling you, bro. Anything can happen. Okay. Oh my God.
Peace.
Oh boy. It's a jungle out there on the chest. Balls and confusion everywhere. Anyway, Grant Pearson, the second man, appreciate you chiming in, man. He has a comment, and he says, Chris Paul has never been to an NBA Finals as, wait a minute, where did it go? Oh, my God.
Yeah, click right there. Yeah,
All
there
right.
we
Chris Paul has never been to an NBA Finals as one of the best point guards in the league right now. Will you deem Chris Paul unworthy of the Hall of Fame? Is he never, what? If he never gets to the NBA Finals.
There we go.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. That's a good question. And there's the comment for everybody looking on Facebook Live. I don't know. That's a really good question. But I don't think Chris Paul was never really the star on his team. Let's take the Clippers for instance. Chris Paul was an intricate piece. He was the guy driving the bus. But you had Blake Griffin. You had DeAndre Jordan. DeAndre Jordan not as big as a star as Blake Griffin was. However, I've never really known anybody. Charles Barkley in those Phoenix days, Charles Barkley was the man. Jordan in his first 4 years in Chicago before Pippen got there, Jordan was the man coming out of college. He was the man. Chris Paul, okay, DeAndre makes a quote with the Hornets. He was, yes, but the Hornets never got far. That's what I'm saying. He was a great player on a bad team. So I don't know. We're putting this one on Facebook after we get out.
Yeah,
show.
definitely.
We're putting it on because this is definitely this is definitely a good debate. The question of the day. We'll make this the question of the day, and then we'll go to break. We'll get into our big music culture segment for the day. But the question is, what is the question? The question is, for stars, it's all about Carmelo. Carmelo's body of work right now, and this goes for any player that's been a star on a team. If your body of work does not include an NBA championship in this day and age, not the 90s, this day and age, are you deserving of a Hall of Fame bid? That's the question of the day. And we'll post it on Facebook when we get done. Now, whatever. This guy wants to play the flute in the band. Yeah, okay. But anyway, it's Monday. Sean Brown just stepped out 2018-2019 band camp campaign, so he's going to be out for a while. So we're going to be holding it down duo style here. This Space Grace on my left, man. Spinning the ones and twos, big fella. We'll be back in a few minutes, man. Get your peoples in the building. This is the Sean Brown Show with JP.
Seems like things are going that way. I don't know what to say. Won't you hold me? Won't you hold me, dear? Hold me deep into the night and we'll be fearless together like a ghost. Baby, you're killing me at the most. We've got one more song together till the lights. Mind our nightly deceptions and I'll be haunted by the taste of your lips.
We're back live here in Savannah, Georgia. This is Sean Brown Show with JP. JP in the building, all up in the area right now. This space, Grace to my left. Spinning ones and twos, man. We just got done with the sports section, but really now we're going to get to the meat and potatoes of the matter today. Today's subject is music and the past, present, and future influence on our culture. So this goes for anybody. So Facebook, YouTube, speakingthemic.com, the TuneIn app, everybody. We want everybody included in this segment. And we're probably going to ride this to the end of the show because this is such a broad spectrum of things that we can talk about. And we are 80s, 90s babies. So we can go back. We can start at the 90s. I don't think we really were knowing anything about music when we were 8.
Not so much.
Not so much.
I know the Ninja Turtles theme song really well, but
good gracious. Can you recite it right now?
not right now. No, that was a long time ago.
I know it was something about being heroes in a half show. I know something about that, but that's about it. But anyway, so the topic is music and the influences on our culture, past, present, and future. So we are going to start in the past, and we'll start with the 1990s because I was born in 82. He was born in 82, I believe.
Yep.
So, when the 90s hit, we were about 8, 9, 10. So, but you do remember those significant bands and artists from the 90s that influenced the culture of music. And this is just any kind of music. The whole plan for this today was to have this Grace hit the EDM side of stuff. And EDM is kind of current. I don't know. How old is EDM? About, what, maybe 10, 15 years old? Something like that?
It actually all spawns from techno and,
right.
disco music, actually. Excuse me. That's where I want to start. And that even goes further back before us, when
right.
the disco revolution was
yeah,
happening.
The major 80s.
Yeah, and then, in the 80s, everyone was like, well, disco is dead. And then here we go into the 90s, and techno rebirths the disco revolution.
Right.
And we have been riding that wave ever since.
Right.
A lot of the music I actually spend here is a lot of 90s inspired. You hear a lot of throwbacks that I put in there. House music, it's a good tip of the hat to disco, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so now, especially where you work, there at Alon,
definitely.
You're seeing the current evolution
yes, absolutely.
of the old disco revolution.
Right.
With trap music, the hard style, all the heavy EDM aspects. That's just what it's all grown into.
Right. So we're going to start in the 90s, and I have a list right here of the top 100 artists of the 1990s decade. So I'm going to go 1 through 10, and we'll talk about it. Number 10 was Dr. Dre.
Of course.
For those of you who don't know, just Aftermath and everything like that. Number 9 was REM. Yeah. That Rick Astley is the yeah, that's what I thought. Rick rolled. That is correct. Number 5 is RHCP, which is Red Hot Chili Peppers. Number 4 was Tupac. Big, major, legendary artist. Number 3, Radiohead. Number 2, Pearl Jam, and number 1 was Nirvana. Now,
I was about to say, where is Kurt Cobain?
Now the one thing I do see is that 7 of the 10 in the top 10 were more, what do you call it? Rock and roll. Is it would it be considered rock and roll?
Alternative rock.
Yeah, alternative rock, things like that. That in the 90s, alternative rock was huge. And this was why 7 out of 10 artists in the top 10 in the 90s were alternative rock. And I mean, you go more down the line. 11 was Mariah Carey. You had Green Day, Soundgarden, Rage Against the Machine, Tribe Called Quest, which is one of my favorite artists. Yes. Oh my goodness, I love Tribe Called Quest. Notorious B.I.G., Public Enemy. It seemed like the more you go down the list, the more the genres change. Like you have Mariah Carey, Tribe Called Quest in the 11 through 20 bracket, and then you have B.I.G., Public Enemy, Korn in the 21 through 30, and the list goes on and on. I mean, you got artists all the way down the line like
I'm really
Coolio,
surprised
Jamiroquai.
Snoop Dogg's not higher up on there.
Yeah, that's another thing. I mean, Snoop was 41 on this list. 41 out of the top 100 in the 90s. But we'll start here in alternative rock. I know you know more about alternative rock than I do. So where do you think alternative rock has gone from the 90s to now? And then where do you think it's going? I mean, is it an upscale, or are we going down? Because those alternative rock songs in the 90s, they hit hard. Some of them had messages. They were really good, and they get played to this day. Like I don't know anywhere that I've been and Enter Sandman played and everybody stands still.
Right.
Or I don't know where who had the song Beverly Hills. That's right.
Oh, Weezer.
Yeah, I've never been anywhere and that song and everybody didn't sing it.
Right.
Or
right.
So we know the music has changed, but the question is, has the music changed in these genres for the better, or has it gotten worse? I know on my side, I'm gonna do, since my guest is here, I'm gonna do hip hop, R&B, the gospel music type thing. But I know what I'm gonna say. But alternative rock, you still have those artists that are out here that are doing good music. But in my opinion, I don't think it's the same as the 90s.
No, so it's not by far. I think, from the 80s to 90s that artists in the alternative rock industry were more poetic than they are now.
Right.
Sadly, I think with integration of technology and things of that nature, artists have gotten lazier, and the industry is more about how do you look on a poster versus how does your song really affect people. The industry as a whole, and I see it in almost every genre, and not to pick at hip-hop, everyone in the hip-hop industry is just as guilty, so is country music. Everyone's just looking to put out that next song that's going to hit the Billboard chart, but nobody's actually really worried about substance. We look back at artists like Stone Temple Pilots is a great example.
Right.
That Scott Weiland was dealing with a heavy opiate addiction throughout his entire career, and he poured his heart and soul and everything that was going on in his life into that music. And that was a big reason, Stone Temple Pilots, I loved listening to their music. I love hearing what was going on in their lives. But now when I listen to the radio nowadays, you don't hear that kind of a struggle. You don't hear it. All you hear is like the common, like, hey, let's go kind of stuff.
Right.
Nothing of any kind of substance. The music's good. I think this is really the revolution for the producers.
Yes,
nowadays.
Absolutely.
Because there's some beautiful music coming out, but vocals are trash lately.
And I mean, and that's on your side as well, as long as my side.
Yeah.
Like, could you tell me an alternative rock band that's right now that could have survived in the 90s? Like somebody new, not somebody like Nirvana or Stone Temple Pilots or Chili Peppers, anybody like that. So like a band that's out now. Let's give it a time range. Since 2010.
I'm going to go ahead and just tell you before the time range. I don't think there's anyone in the industry right now that could handle bands like R.E.M., Pearl Jam, Metallica, anything like that. There's nobody right now that would stand above them.
I mean, I'm not a real big alternative rock fan, but I don't know. I'm trying to think of somebody that's out right now that might be able to.
If we have to think this hard, there
probably isn't. That's a good point.
And one other point I got to make it, and I fear that it's my age that's kicking in here, because the new generation of music obviously doesn't speak to me. I'm not still in high school and dealing with teen angst and all that good stuff that alternative rock really hammered on. But at the same time, I try to stay open-minded, especially as a DJ. So I try to reach across the board, and I just find it more effective in the club environment, parties, that I reach back to where there was substance and mix it with new producer stuff from today.
And you know what the funny thing is? Like me and shout out to my DJ Mad Max. I know he's not watching because he's probably asleep. Yeah. But shout out to him. We do things on Fridays and Saturdays now. If you've never been to Elon on a Friday or a Saturday, it's more top 40. We do a lot of trap. Get the people in. We do a lot of trap. Unless it's like a Saturday, we have artists that we hit EDM very, very heavy. But the one thing that is a staple and a constant on those nights that we do that is when we go 90s. Mm-hmm. Like, take for instance Saturday. We were at capacity for about an hour Saturday.
Oh yeah, I saw the videos.
It was packed. Nowhere to stand at. If you was on one side of the club and you were trying to get out of the club, it took you about 10 minutes to get across the club. So, when you have a crowd like that, you want to play the current stuff. Mm-hmm. And that is what we were doing. We were hitting current stuff. We were hitting Bruno Mars. We were hitting Beyonce, Jay-Z, Kanye West, stuff like that. We were hitting all of that, and the crowd was loving it. And to myself, I'm just like, I really want to hit this. There's a gimmick we do with 90s. It's about 5 or 6 songs. We do a 90s set just to test to see where your music culture's at. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, everybody's hitting hard, trap, all that stuff. So I tell Max, I say, I mean, I got a feeling. I said, let's hit this 90s joint, see where they at. So we do a hard stop. For those of you that don't know what a hard stop is, it's a hard stop of music, probably with an echo in between, make it sound good. And so I get on the mic and I say, okay, this trap stuff is good, but I say, where my 90s babies at? And the entire club explodes. I mean, people standing on top of tables, yelling, screaming. And I was blown away because all I see in the crowd is younger kids. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking maybe, since it's 2018 now, I'm thinking maybe 99, 2000. Because, you could be 18 to get in the club. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking they don't know too much about 91 to 95 or 90 to 96. Surprise. They don't know too much about that. I was blown away. We did Montel Jordan, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air theme, mm-hmm. Belle Biv DeVoe. We did, I don't know who does the song, but the Jump On It song from Fresh Prince, where they do the dance like this.
Oh, yeah.
And they were, dude, the reaction in that club, I was blown away. So these younger kids do know about 90s, mm-hmm. whether it's alternative rock or it's hip hop or it's whatever, country's included. Mm-hmm. So, but it's not, you're not going to get now what you got in the 90s. And that was good music, in my opinion.
Right.
And it was music that meant something. Like perfect example, Tribe Called Quest, Arrested mm-hmm. Development.
Oh, man, Arrested Development.
Yeah, Electric Boogaloo, stuff like mm-hmm. that. You're not going to get that now. And that was Public Enemy. Mm-hmm. Public Enemy. Every song Public Enemy made, almost 80%, was about a purpose. Now, I don't know Fight the Power, the other FTP song that I'm not going to say. But it was a message.
What about Childish Gambino?
I don't think he would have survived in the 90s. Now, don't. This is America. You have to be very woke to understand that song.
Okay. Before that song dropped, Child Gambino.
I don't know, cause I mean, look at who was in the 90s. You had Outkast. Mm-hmm. You had Lauryn Hill, Erykah Badu. You had yeah. So could
you think of Gambino Outkast collab?
Now I can.
Yeah. But
back then, I don't know. The style of music and the vibe was so much different than it is right now. It's
J. Cole.
Well, okay, R&B, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Listen, R&B is so much easier to transition than hip hop. Boys to Men. Let's see. Who else? I mean, 112 was 2000. So, but yeah, it's way easier to do it in R&B than it is to do in hip hop. Like I can't see. Let me see. The only artist I could see, well, Jay-Z was kind of 90s. Yeah.
Yeah.
Reasonable Doubt came out in 90, what, 6, 7? Reasonable Doubt?
Something like that.
Yeah, so you had Jay-Z, you had Biggie, you had Pac, you had...
Encore was 99 when he did Linkin Park.
Right, exactly. So, and that's another band, Linkin Park. Mm-hmm. So, it's, I don't know. For me, I just wish music would go back. I'm waiting for that one artist to bring back 90s music and make it relevant in 2018. That's what I'm waiting. When that happens, he'll be my favorite artist of all time. Like I'm sorry. I mean, I love Michael Jackson. I love all these other, but somebody who can sit there and take 90s music that most of these kids don't know about because all they're doing is, ghost riding the whip and doing the Kiki challenge. I want somebody to bring real music back. That's what I want.
You need to come with me to some of these music festivals, man.
Man, dude, I want to go to a music festival so bad, man. I have to go to one.
They're definitely shooting at our generation because every stage I go to when I go to these festivals, somebody's dropping good 90s set. Like almost every artist is throwing those throwbacks in, and it's great for me, man.
Right.
I love every bit of it. Was it keep?
I just told you to keep dreaming. I'm sleeping hard, brother. I'm telling you, I'm dreaming real hard. I want this to come back. But 37 after the top of the hour, it should be 23 minutes before the top of the hour. This Space Grace on my left, man. It's Monday. We in the building here in Savannah, man. We're going to go to a quick break. We're going to come back. More on this discussion. Keep them comments coming, man. Appreciate you guys watching us, man. And we'll be back in a second. It's the Sean Brown Show with JP.
Hey, yo, y'all know what time it is. Your boy Pastor Troy checking in, down South Georgia boy. Hey, listen to the Sean Brown Show with JP. Y'all know what time it is, man. Your boy Pastor Troy, go get that new album, Club of Lang. Yeah, man, on all digital platforms. It's going all the way down. You tuned in, baby, right now to the Sean Brown Show with my dog JP and his song.
Yo, big ups to the homeboy Pastor Troy with the drop.
Loving
dude.
it. Loving it.
That's the homie, man. Pastor Troy. If y'all ever get a chance to hang out with Pastor Troy, man, hang out with Pastor Troy. That's a real dude. But we are back, ladies and gentlemen. The topic of the day is music and its culture influences on past, present, and future. Appreciate everybody watching, and comments are rolling through. DeAndre is speaking his mind today.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
DeAndre said maybe King Combs, not sure. Diddy's son. His song with Chris Brown kind of had that feel just like his pops, but it's just one hit. I don't know if he'll do a whole career or a body of work like that. I don't know who. I mean, I know who it is now. He's Diddy's son, but I mean, look at what Bruno Mars did with Cardi B with the Finesse remix, and he threw it back in the video to like the In Living Color days. It had like a In Living Color theme to it. So I don't know. I mean, maybe I need to check out this King Combs dude. But the question is, could King Combs survive in the 90s? Like, if King Combs and Diddy were doing music at the same time, could King Combs survive? That's the question. Of course, probably his son is going to be a replica of the father. But, I mean, like we said off air a few months ago about Camouflage's daughter, Flage. It's almost like we know who your father is, but make the music your own. Right. Build your own brand. You know, do you. Don't be a carbon copy of your father. So, I don't know. I mean, it'd be interesting to see. There's a lot of artists out here. I mean, and let's shift gears to the present. I don't even want to talk about mine because my music in the present makes no sense. Tekashi 6ix9ine, Triple X Tentacion, rest in peace to him. Hip hop it's
strange now.
Not even strange. It's almost dead.
I
don't know any current hip hop artist that just came out in the last 2 years or so that I would compare to anybody in the 90s. Anybody.
I can feel that.
I don't know anybody, any rapper. Now, we still have rappers that were relevant in the 90s doing music now, but I'm talking about somebody that just came out.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody that I can sit there and say I could put them and implant them in the 90s and they will be just as successful as they are now.
I don't think a lot of the artists now, period, would be able to do it because they're
now,
so
Childish
dependent
Gambino might be the only one.
Yeah, but most of these artists are very dependent on the new technologies. A lot of them are making their sounds from it. Like auto-tune is a great example.
Right.
Stuff that we were using synthesizers and stuff in the 80s and 90s, but it wasn't as much producer influence that there is today. So without all that editing, all the effects and everything like that, would these artists have even gotten discovered in the first place?
I don't know. Now, it's interesting that you brought up auto-tune and vocoder and talkbox type stuff because that was very prevalent way before the 90s. That was 80s with Roger Troutman and Zapp and all of those bands were doing it. And it kind of fell off. And then T-Pain brought it back a little bit. You know, everybody was judging him as like, oh, you can't sing for real because all you do is auto-tune. And then come to find out that T-Pain can sing for real. So he can sing for real.
Well.
So very well. So, and I mean, there's a guy on YouTube right now, Byron Chambers. His nickname is Mr. Talkbox.
Yeah, I know.
Amazing. Dude, he won a Grammy for if you listen to 24 Karat Magic, the intro, that's him.
Oh wow.
Yeah. That's in that's him. So this is 90s. I'm gonna play a clip real quick. This is 90s, but in like talkbox form. As soon as I flip my phone.
Yay, technology.
I'm telling you, man, golly, you don't make it so difficult for me. And I'm old. So let's go a little further. But, I mean, this is what I'm talking about. In the 80s and 90s, this is what music was.
Yeah.
It was this type of stuff. I don't hear this now at all. Like even like,
But you definitely don't hear that funk style.
no, absolutely. So I'm trying to see the next song. I don't know what the next song is. Come on, man. Come on, man. These songs right here, if we play them now, people be like, what? Unless you're at like a grown and sexy club or something like that.
Right.
But if I play this at Elon, they be like, what?
Unless you put a riser and a hell of a trap drop right behind it.
And I mean, honestly, that would be kind of dope. Like if you implanted this in EDM just to like bring the presence of that song and then just make it your own.
Yeah.
That would be dope as I don't know what. But you just don't see this anymore. And it's listen.
Yeah, that harmonic change.
Come on, these are legendary songs from the 90s. This is So For Real, Candy Rain, right? Yeah. So For Real, Candy Rain. Come on, man. You can play this at a wedding receptions, family reunions, but it seems like this is the only time you hear it at all. Another classic. Come on, man. I'm starting to feel good in the studio right now playing that track, and so I'm gonna let that go. But that's the kind of music we need now.
Good emotion music.
Right. I don't need music that's gonna make me want to go out and flatten somebody's tires and shoot somebody's windows out. That's what I get. And I mean, it's not everybody. It's just
There's always a place for the aggressive style music, which me personally, I was a speed metal freak back in the day. You know, I love my heavy stuff. I love heavy trap nowadays. But yeah, we need more like funk and uplifting. Can we go one song out there in any genre without cussing?
unless you're talking about R&B.
Yeah, well, R&B.
That's about it.
Yeah. And the thing I love about R&B is they lead you to the assumption. They don't actually just come out and say,
right.
You know?
Gives you something, leaves something for the imagination.
Right.
It's just the matter of fact, it's just like a woman. I would rather see a woman out somewhere fully clothed and look good,
taking care of herself,
than a girl that looks good with a skirt up to here and all of her things popping out. This is radio, so I'm being very PG right now, but PC. So I would rather see that. Like, this is why my wife, Jessica, we knew each other in middle school. Lost connection. You know where we reconnected? Church.
Hey, great place to reconnect.
Come on, man. Well, you might, but I mean, you're not gonna see boobies popping out and skirts up to the bottom of your behind. You're not gonna see that in church very often. So that's what I said. Leave it to the imagination. And R&B did that. That was a great point to make. R&B just, oh, wow.
Yeah, there'll always be a place in my heart for good R&B. It really will.
And I mean, shoot, I'm gonna go ahead and research R&B bands since we're talking about the present.
Yeah.
Since we're sitting here talking about the present, I'm gonna go ahead and.
Yeah, anyone who's listening, let us know what is the best R&B you think right now at the moment.
Yeah, that's a good question. Anybody out there that's listening right now, give us some examples of what you think might be the best R&B artists out right now, and then we can compare them to, I don't know, 90s, 2000s.
But yeah.
Oof.
He's seeing the list now.
Well, I mean, the list isn't bad, but it ain't what I thought it was gonna be.
Give us a few off of there.
Drake, Beyonce.
Oh, The Weeknd.
The
I like The Weeknd, honestly.
Bruno Mars. Ray Schmurder is R&B. I thought they were hip hop. I don't know. I guess it's all in the same. Alicia Keys, John Legend, Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran is dope.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I don't know why I was forgetting Ed Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran is dope.
Oh, yeah, he's going through the lawsuit, too, right now, though, isn't he?
Is he?
Yeah.
About that song with Marvin Gaye.
Yeah.
Stupid. Anyway. I mean, there's a lot of Tyga, Neo, Ariana Grande, Mariah Carey. No, not saying Mariah Carey. Please, Daniel Caesar. DeAndre says Daniel Caesar. I have to check him out. I don't know who that is. See, a lot of these names right here, I don't know if I can implant them in. I don't know who PNB Rock is. I've never heard any of his things. I could take Neo and take Neo back to the 90s. I could take him. I could take Alicia Keys. I'll definitely take Bruno Mars
Oh
back to the
God,
90s.
all day, yeah.
Definitely. John Legend, yeah. Let's see. Who else can I take back to the 90s?
It's a rough list.
Robin Thicke, maybe. Robin Thicke was hot for about 5 years. And then he just face planted the concrete, like out of nowhere. I mean, let's go broaden the horizon. Maroon 5.
Yeah.
U2. I didn't know Selena Gomez had a Katy Perry, Coldplay. Chloe and Halle is another artist that is going to be big. Yes, the 18 track was dope by Ed Sheeran. I do agree 100% with that. But you've heard these twins, Chloe and Halle?
No, I haven't.
Yes, absolutely. Good music. They're young. Well, I don't know how young, but they're young. They're younger than me. If you're younger than me, you're young, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm old. Yeah, when Paula Patton divorced and we fell off huge. Well, look at Paula Patton. I'd be upset too. I don't know. If I was married to Paula Patton, looked good back then. But I mean, dude, I am so like all over the place right now. But I digress. Let's see. Yeah, New Edition, Isley Brothers. That's going back. Earth, Wind, and Fire, Isley Brothers. That's going back. Now, here's another question. Crossover. An artist that can. Snoop Dogg, perfect example. We know Snoop in the 90s for the weed smoking, alcohol pouring, party animal. We know that's what we know him for now.
Right.
2000s, he toned it down. He had the song with Chingy and Ludacris. It wasn't so weed smoking, all that stuff. He's toned down a lot. Now he's out with a gospel album, which legitly, if you ask around, it's got the gospel community in uproar because now he's selling albums as a gospel artist more than gospel artists are selling their albums for being gospel artists. So that comes into crossover. Does crossover make an effect in where we can put these artists? Because I don't know. If Bruno did it, like we said, Finesse earlier, that is a 90s themed song. It sounds 90s. The lyrics, and here's another thing. Finesse was on the original album. Why is everybody crushing over the Finesse remix? Because Cardi B was on it. It's the same song. It just got Cardi B's lyric on it and a In Living Color theme. Nobody was vibing with Finesse when it came out on his album.
Right.
And then he did the remix with Cardi B. Now everybody's like, oh, Finesse. It's the same song, just with somebody else's verse on it. So, and it ain't really even a verse because Cardi B did the intro. An intro verse, and then she did the hook at the end. Everything else is regular Finesse off the album.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. But, yeah.
No, a lot of people just aren't exposed to good music early on when it first comes out.
Either that or they don't want to be
That's true
exposed to good music.
That's true.
Because, I mean, the hood comes out when, I don't know, Wife and Lucci came, the hood was out. When Waka came, the hood was out. I mean, it's all a process of broadening your horizons with music.
Yes.
It's if you, and I made the point about EDM a couple of months ago. I was like, bro, if you come in Elon and EDM ain't your thing, that's okay. That's cool. I mean, you knew what you're gonna get when you walked in the door. It's a Saturday night. We got an artist. We're playing EDM. You don't have to pay at the door. But once you give the lady at the front your money, we got you. So why come in and pay $10 for something you ain't gonna like? At least come in there and
immerse yourself. Give it a shot.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Give it a chance. So I think music would be more successful if the people and the consumers of it would give something that you haven't heard before a chance.
Open your mind.
Yeah, exactly. Open your mind. Like these kids now coming out of high school listening to 90s and they're like, what's that?
Right.
Without even listening to it because it doesn't sound like.
One of my favorite examples is George Clinton. Like a lot of people, my goodness! But there's so many people. Oh my God, I didn't know it could be like this, and now they're.
Yeah, when George Clinton was just here at Stage on Bay a couple of months ago, I saw a large population of younger kids there that you would think don't know about that, either that or their parents brought them up on it. Hey, Evangelist Thompson, how are you? Thank you for joining us. We got 4 minutes left in the show, so we're trying to close this thing out. But thank you for watching anyway. Matter of fact, Evangelist, if you're on here, hi, first of all. And I just want to ask you a question. If you want to put a quick comment before we go off the air, we can get a gospel music kind of side to this right here. Gospel music from the 90s compared to gospel music from today. What's the difference? That I'm just going to ask you that question. What is the evolution of gospel music? We've hit alternative rock, we've hit hip hop, we've hit R&B, and I mean honestly, we can keep this going all week. Honestly, because I mean Sean's not going to be here, and that's going to make the show better. But anyway, yeah, I know, right? That's a little shade, ain't it? But, nah, we miss you, Sean, man. Have fun out there at Savannah State. But anyway, yeah, that's the question. If you can't get the questions in on the comments right here, leave the comment on the Facebook page. And since we're talking about the Facebook page, please go see us at all of our social media outlets: Facebook, YouTube, SpeakingTheMic.com, the TuneIn app, and I'm telling you, that fifth one be killing us, boy. Golly. Is there 5 or is there 4?
We were on 5, and then Sony started messing with us, and we just started.
Okay, Facebook, YouTube, the TuneIn app, WQTS,
and SpeakingToTheMic.com.
SpeakingTheMic.com. No, but WQTS and the TuneIn app is the same thing.
Okay, gotcha.
So, I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
I failed. It was awful. Golly. Co-host of the show, and I don't even know all of our social media outlets. I mean, I do, but we don't know if it's 4 or 5.
Find one, find them all.
Right, exactly. SpeakingTheMic.com, find everything right there. Yeah. Go like the page on Facebook, The Sean Brown Show with JP.
I think it's listed
right there.
It's so hard to do this opposite.
Right there. There. Right. Oh, wait, where's my other hand at? Okay, there, right there. 2.5 minutes before the top of the hour, man. This is a good show.
Yeah, I thought so.
We hit, she commented. She said, the difference to me is I could understand back then music better than the rap gospel nowadays. Now, I'm assuming she's talking about people like Lecrae and, what's the other dude? I can't think of his name right now. But there are a lot of artists in gospel right now that I would definitely take back to the 90s, like Jonathan McReynolds, Travis Green. I mean, Kurt's always going to be relevant. Kurt Franklin is always going to be relevant. But, I mean, I think gospel is the only genre of music that there hasn't been a huge difference. Like, of course, we know rap, Public Enemy to today's 6ix9ine, Tentacion, stuff like that. I think gospel's the only, and maybe country, because country hasn't diverted too much. And I mean, people make a joke that all you need is a dog, a death of your family member, and a truck and depression to make a country song, which I don't think, because Florida. Because I mean, I'm not a country super fan, but I like Florida Georgia Line. I like them. I think they're dope. And all of their songs ain't about depression and somebody shot my dog in the forehead and my wife left me and stuff like that. They make good music. Yeah. So I mean,
actually, a lot of it's about talking about good times.
Absolutely.
And that's one thing I can appreciate is I saw from the old school country way back in the day, like pre-'80s. A lot of it was that I lost my dog, you know.
Right.
But in the 90s, we saw a lot of artists like Garth Brooks and whatnot. They started taking rock songs and making them their own. Yeah. And I think with the more modern evolution of country, we're seeing a lot more positivity. And we're seeing a little bit of creativity, but not as much as I personally would like to see.
Yeah, Brantley Gilbert is another one. Grant Pierce said, thank you for the comment. Renita says, the rap gospel is for the younger generations. I like the old school gospel. I agree with you on that. But I think there's another scenario with the alternative rock. You're not going to reach a 17-year-old with 90s gospel music. That's not.
It's going to be a tough bridge to cross.
It's not going to work. Yeah. Right. Like, perfect example, this Sunday, my pastor sang some old school stuff. And, like, the kids were like, while the rest of us were like, yes. Because, like, that old school stuff will get you through. Like, I put a post on Facebook. I had, like, a horrible week last week. And I was listening.
Country rap.
I was listening to Fred Hammond. I think an album back in the early 2000s. And, like, I was just like, okay, I'm good now. I can't do that listening to hip-hop gospel now. I can't do that. What did DeAndre say? I'm sorry. I'm talking.
He was talking about the country rap crossover as well.
as well.
Let's see. Country started
Which is dope.
featuring rap artists as well as.
Yeah, absolutely. Crossover. That's all it is crossover. It's like you get in where you fit in. If you see an opportunity, let me hit this. A lot of people ain't doing that. Like Nelly did a country song. Who did he do it with? Well, it had a country feel to it, but I don't know. Anyway.
But we've run way over time.
I wasn't even looking at the clock. God damn, fail. But anyway, yeah, it's been Monday, man. Thank you guys, everybody, for hold my mule. Good gracious, Grant. God, what you trying to do? You trying to have a gospel concert, or you tarrying, sir? What are you doing on an altar like this? Oh, thank you, Jesus. Oh, but anyway, yeah. Thanks, thank you guys for watching, man. Yeah. We're here. Are we having shows Tuesday and Thursday?
Tomorrow I'm going to be in Atlanta, so I won't be able to spin out for the show. So we'll be on our normal radio broadcast. But then Wednesday, you and I will be here.
Absolutely.
And Thursday, I should be here to kick up some house tunes for you. And then Friday, we'll be back at it again. Normal time, normal show.
Absolutely. So how long is Sean going to be out? A couple of weeks?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh. It might get little samplings of Sean here and there. But.
Please no. Anyway, yeah, it's been the Sean Brown Show with JP, man, live from Savannah, Georgia. It is Monday, man. Please make your week positive. Please be productive. Everything you do, make yourself great at it, man. And we will see you guys. I will see you guys Wednesday. Well, actually, both of us will see you Wednesday because he ain't going to be here.
Right.
So, yeah, stay tuned in. Sean Brown Show with JP, SpeakingMic.com, Facebook, YouTube, tune in at WQTS Digital Broadcast. That was a lot to say in about 7 seconds. And we are out of here, man. See y'all on Wednesday.
Peace.
Listen, SB with the truth, it might pierce your mind. And JP hit you with reality all the time. The way to keep it all the way 100, it should be a crime. Sports, news, politics, on the show you will find. Conversation grown, opinions they're not alone. Savannah be the home, they coming straight for your dome. It is what it is, gonna be what it's gonna be. You are rocking with the Sean Brown Show with JP.
Goodbye.